All right, welcome back once again. NFL Championship Sundays in the books. We've got an exciting show for y'all today. We'll be going over everything from both games and everything that happened within those games. Let's get started by going over the first AFC Championship game between the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. I was wrong on this one. Got the cover with Denver, but the Broncos lost outright. You got to give credit to this New England defense and the rushing game here. Ramondre Stevenson was able to pick up some tough yards once the weather got bad. They leaned on the running game. It was the Patriots were able to eat the clock, and it paid dividends in the second half when the rain or the snow started to come down. Drake May picked up some huge third downs. I want to give credit to this Patriots offense, and especially Drake May. Didn't have the best game, didn't have the prettiest game, but he was able to pick up those third downs. The Patriots were 6 of 18 on third down compared to Denver's 4 of 14. That was the difference in the game. We'll go over how the game played out here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about that because the one game aspect, football aspect that we've been going over all playoffs, and it came up huge in this game for Sean Payton. He thought he was smarter than all of us, and he outsmarted himself. Aggressive versus conservative on fourth down, close to the goal line, within the red zone. Should you go for the field goal, take the points? We know taking the points isn't an automatic, but this kick was within what the Broncos were on the 10, 15-yard line. This would have been a short field goal, not automatic. But in my opinion, you have your backup quarterback, first game all season. He marched you down the field. You have to take advantage. Yes, I get it. It sounds like there was some confusion. They were supposed to run the ball. They checked to a pass. The one pass that they checked to was eaten up. It looked like a short little screen pass, play action, dump off to either the tight end if the tight end was open on a pop, or down to the running back. Both were covered. Jared Stidham has to throw the ball away, turnover on downs. That changed the whole game. Well, there's another big play. We'll go over that in a little bit. Sean Payton, obviously hindsight, but we've been talking about this all week, so y'all know how I feel about it. If you're that close, you're the underdog. You necessarily didn't have to go for it to be super aggressive because your defense was having a great time against Drake May, stopping them, forcing punts. Kick the field goal. It's a short field goal. If you don't get it, you still have the Patriots pinned back there. I get it. If you go for it and you don't get it, Patriots will still be pinned back there. But they were struggling to move the football when they got closer to the goal line. I think it would have been the perfect time to kick the field goal. Hindsight's 2020, but we've talked about this all postseason. I would have kicked the field goal. Let's just say you go up 10-0. That's a huge difference. The other difference in the game that completely changed everything was the Jared Stidham backwards pass slash fumble. Patriots were able to march the ball down. What was it? 10 yards, maybe 12 yards, I believe it was on 12-yard line. It looked like the Patriots knocked the ball backwards, and that's what forced the pass to be a backwards pass. I think that was a bad call. I didn't like it live, and after I saw the replay, you could kind of see the Patriots defender knocking the ball backwards. But all in all, aggressive versus conservative, that's the huge issue here, and it has been plaguing many coaches, losing coaches for going for it on these fourth downs when you don't have to. Be conservative. It's early in the football game. You had all the momentum. You would have even more momentum and even more pressure on the Patriots offense and Drake May. And you would have possibly taken away their running game, which in the second half was great for this New England offense. It was able to help keep the ball out of Drake May's hands. Drake May really didn't throw the football. He had 65 yards rushing, but all in all, those third downs he picked up with his legs changed the game. The same thing happened with Sean McVay. Sean McVay had a chance to kick the field goal. I believe there was about 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Both teams had 3 timeouts. Rams were losing by 4 points. I think if you kick the field goal there, short field goal, and again, not automatic, but Mevis, I believe he's only missed 2 field goals all season. So your chances would have been good. Your defense was playing great in the second half. Trust your defense. Let them help you out. Let them do their jobs and try to get a stop, get the ball back. Mevis has the ability to kick long field goals. That would have been great if they needed to kick a 50-plus yard field goal. The weather wasn't too bad, wind wasn't too bad. Also, it came back to haunt them. And there's so many things I want to go over with both of these games. Let's jump back to the Broncos Patriots game. Got off track there a little bit because of the third down conversions and that sort of thing. But again, Sean Payton, I don't get what he was trying to do, right? You could have had all the momentum. So now all the pressure's on the defense, and the defense was on the field a lot more. Like I said, Denver was 4-14 on third down, which means their defense spent a lot of time on the field, eventually got tired. That's why the running game for the Patriots was beginning to pick up some good yardage. I think they were averaging, let me pull it up here, averaging 3.7 yards a carry. But in the second half, I feel like it was a lot more, which begs the question, which was brought up on Twitter quite a bit, actually. Should these games, playoff games that, mean the most, mean a trip to the Super Bowl? Our Super Bowl location is never in Green Bay. It's never in Denver. It's always in sunny weather or in a dome, except for the one time it was in MetLife Stadium, which was a mistake. And I think that was the first and only time they had the Super Bowl in a cold weather location. Once in Dallas, but obviously Dallas plays in a dome. So should these games be played at a neutral site, sunny weather, indoors for the AFC, NFC championships? Should that become a thing? Or do we just, these are home field advantages, not only for Denver, New England, Chicago, Green Bay. Yeah, that's. I mean, last year we saw the NFC Championship in a blizzard, the Rams against the Eagles. That was a great game. But I do understand how you would want to have it in a neutral site or a dome so that we can not blame the weather. We get the best team no matter what, no excuses. I still don't think weather was an excuse in either game. It surely didn't help that Jared Stidham's that was his first game to start all season. But did I come away from that game thinking, wow, this was, this snow played a huge role in determining the outcome? No, I don't think so. Because like I said, the Patriots were 6 of 18 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down. They were able to block a short field goal the Broncos had. Broncos, I thought the punt was blocked, but it may have just been a short punt. Also, is this a different game if Bo Nix starts? Is it played differently? Possibly. But again, this Broncos defense played great. One mistake from Jared Stidham is all it took for the Patriots to capitalize. Again, Drake May skates by, gets lucky because other than him running for a couple third downs, I mean, he really didn't do too much in this game to affect the scoring. But again, that's all it took. He played the game, 86 yards passing. He skates by again. I'm not a fan of this Drake May offense or the Patriots. I believe they've been skating by. I did like the way they played against the Texans, but the Texans had a competent quarterback. Maybe that game turns out differently, but it didn't. You got to give credit to this Patriots team, especially the defense. The defense is what's been the game changer for this whole team. The offense hasn't scored more than 17 points. Defense is carrying them. So be it. They're getting the wins. The window's open. Everyone was talking about Josh Allen having the open window for the playoffs because there's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar Jackson. Not that that matters, but now it's Drake May taking advantage of these opportunities, the ones that these other quarterbacks didn't take advantage of. So I mean, you can't really fault the Patriots and Drake May here. What else do we want to talk about? Let's get to the Seattle Rams game. Seattle gets the victory. The Rams lose after another great offensive performance. A lot of mistakes. We talked a little bit about it already with Sean McVay deciding to go for it instead of kick the field goal. I was talking during this game, and it didn't surprise me that they were going to go for it on fourth down because they went for it on fourth and short earlier in the drive, and they got it. So they kind of had some momentum. I just didn't understand why they didn't try and run the football on third down. They had 2 passes in a row. Both of them led to basically they're incompletions, obviously, but they were kind of like throwaways. Everyone's pretty covered. There's a lot of defensive backs. Basically, they dropped. I don't know. Want to say 8, maybe six or 7, and the run was open for a while there. The Seattle Seahawks were going with 2, 3 down linemen. I thought that Kyron Williams was getting a great push with the offensive line, but McVay, he decides to leave it in Stafford's hands, except they throw it to, I believe, Parkinson, and the other pass went to Ferguson. One pass went to Ferguson, and one pass went to Mumfield. Not the most ideal play calls there, but again, I thought they could have ran the ball. Hindsight, obviously, I know that. Again, Sean Payton, we give up Sean McVay, we give him all the credit, but at the end of the day, maybe he should kick the field goal there, trust the defense. Maybe he didn't trust the defense. Although I thought they were doing a pretty good job. They didn't let Seattle score once in the fourth quarter. And then again, if you want to talk about Sean McVay's play calling or game management, at the end of the first half, instead of running the clock out, he tries to be super aggressive. And what happens? They end up punting the ball, and guess what? Seattle marches it down the field, doesn't get a field goal. They end up scoring a touchdown right before half. That kind of changes the momentum of the game, gets the crowd back into it. So for McVay, we can give all the flack in the world to Sean Payton, deserved. McVay, we praised him during the season, but in the playoff time, he did a terrible job last night, in my opinion, and it pretty much cost them another Super Bowl appearance. I didn't like it. You can make some excuses. I wouldn't really call this an excuse, but I mean, we got to talk about it. At what point do we, decide what's a catch, what's not a catch? A few of these plays at the end of the game, it didn't look like they caught the football. Cooper Kupp on fourth down was one. Let's not forget the Drake May quarterback sneak that led to, I believe, the field goal to go up for the Patriots. It didn't look like on the camera view, on the sky camera view, it looked like he was short. They barely even reviewed it, I believe, for a couple seconds, and they already made the determination that he got the first down. I didn't think he got it. It looked like he was clearly short. They sped up the game. They gave it to him. I didn't understand that whatsoever. And then again, another pass to Smith and Jigba. He catches it on the sideline, falls down on the ground, and the ball pops up. I don't think he remained with the ball with possession throughout the catch. Same thing with Cooper Kupp on that third and long that basically ended the game for the Rams and won it for the Seattle Seahawks. And we could also go back to the Bills interception against the Broncos that was caught but then ripped away late. I just don't understand it. There's not a lot of consistency here with the NFL. We know been the that's been a fact ever since the Calvin Johnson catch, and then in the playoffs with the Des Bryant catch. I believe this will never happen, but I believe the NFL should go the XFL UFL route where you have the same referee crew that's in the booth that watches all these games, and they get called in when there's something that's it's close. It'll be a little bit more difficult during the season with all the games going on at the same time, but still, like the way Dean Blandino and the team does it, they look at all replays. If they determine something isn't, that shouldn't be, it should be overturned. I believe it should be overturned, but that's not going to happen. A lot of this, we can go to the rigged Freemasons. It's the NFL's rigged, which I would understand that, and I do get that, especially with this Patriots team, because they aren't very good in my opinion. But neither is anybody else in the AFC. Let's just be honest. So the Patriots, as much as we want to tear them down, they keep showing up and they keep beating teams, even though they're not the best teams. The Chargers, the Texans. Texans have amazing defense, have one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Not the smartest either, low IQ CJ Stroud. And then again, they just took down the Broncos, but with backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham. I thought Stidham actually had a pretty good game. His only problem was the fumble. He kept holding the ball for way too long, running backwards. If he just threw these balls away, Broncos probably win that game. Probably 7-0, 10-3, somewhere around there. But what more can you ask for a first-time starter in the playoffs, Jared Stidham? He did what he could. He threw a long pass. He was able to march down the field, get the lead for the defense. Should have been up 10-0. And then again, they had a short field goal. Field goal got blocked. A lot of drop passes as well. Did he throw perfect balls? Again, he's a backup. This is his first game, AFC Championship game. These wide receivers should be doing a much better job holding on to the football, which they didn't. He had RJ Harvey. Another issue was the Broncos couldn't run the ball because both of their running backs are 5'8". So hopefully they fix that in the offseason. Not a good look for Broncos. They couldn't get the football going, especially in the bad weather. But again, Dobbins' injury kind of hurt them. Again, they should probably find a bigger running back. We saw what Ramondre Stevenson was able to do for the Patriots in the second half, basically changed the game. There's also what's going on there. There's also what are we? Okay, yeah. Going back to weather and dome. I don't think it should be played in a dome. If they want to do neutral site, but then it takes away home field advantage for the AFC NFC Championship. Do we really want that? I don't know. I mean, let's just say I'm trying to think. Maybe you could deem one location for the NFC and AFC that you go play there if that division wins. So, like the AFC South will play in Atlanta, something like that. But again, if the Falcons ever make, if the NFC South, if the Falcons ever make it, but I don't think they'll ever do that. If we're gonna play in the, in the weather, we're gonna play in the weather. It's home field advantage for a reason. I'm more concerned about there being grass fields instead of turf on every NFL stadium, whether or not we play in a dome. I think that's a bigger deal, but that doesn't matter. Let's also talk about the punt returns in the Seattle Rams game. That changed the whole game. Why was this punt returner catching the ball on the 10, 15-yard line, not only trying to catch it, but falling backwards trying to catch the football? He muffs it. He almost muffed it earlier in the game, but got it back. In that situation, you shouldn't even be catching the ball. You should be running as far away from it as possible. He could have went about it multiple ways. Hindsight's 2020. But come on, man, falling backwards. Who do you think you are? That was just a terrible, dumb mistake. Another special teams play. You got to put that on the head coach. You have to have your special teams in order. But again, that's why I think it was like Seattle deserved to win. They didn't make those mistakes. The Rams made those mistakes. Seattle didn't. Rams ended up losing. The one mistake Seattle did lose or make was Tariq Woolen celebrating on the sidelines. He had the taunting call, huge call that gave the Rams another chance to make something happen late in the game. But what do you want him to do? Like, you should have respect, not only for yourself, but your opponent. He's literally on the sidelines towards the Rams bench, taunting in front of the referee, saying who knows what. And, coaches are jabbing, yelling at him. Devontae Adams is right there. So what else did you think was going to happen? A lot of people saying like, oh, that's NFL. That's NFL. That's a soft call. Well, maybe the NFL doesn't want their players acting a fool on the sidelines. Like, come on, man. You made a great play. You're getting close to the Super Bowl. Do you really need to be taunting your opponent? Go celebrate with your team. Like, go to the other sideline. Why are you taunting? I think that was a justified penalty. Is it soft? I don't believe so. I mean, otherwise, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line in taunting? I think that was, I don't think that was an egregious penalty. Whether it happened in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, it needed to be called. There's no reason for Tariq Woolen to be, acting crazy on the sideline for, after making a huge play. Go celebrate with your teammates. You celebrating with your teammates and you do it the right way, they're not going to call, a 15-yard penalty. That's just common sense. He acted like a brain dead individual and it cost his team, and it almost cost his team the game. Luckily for him, it didn't. It would have soiled the good UTSA name, who he played for. Survive and advance. Seattle did it. They move on. And now we have the quarterback matchup that I don't think anybody was expecting, but we got Drake May, hasn't scored more than 17 points all postseason, but cakewalk to the Super Bowl against Sam Darnold. Counted out. He's seen ghosts. He made his way from being terrible Jets quarterback to being a journeyman to, almost an undefeated season with the Vikings. Got blasted in the playoffs. Gets shipped off to Seattle. Revives his career. You got to give credit to Sam Darnold here. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. We'll get into it more later. What did y'all think of the AFC Championship, NFC Championship? What do you think about conservative, aggressive play calling? Also, what about the 15-yard taunting penalties? Do y'all think that was soft? Do you think it was legitimate and should have been called? I believe it did. Y'all let us know. Thanks for liking, watching, subscribing, and of course, the trolling. So follow us for more, and we'll see y'all later.